I'm going to walk you through on how to go ahead and create a page using CSS. We first want to create a file, so I'm going to, on my desktop, I'm going to have a new folder and I'm going to name it Create a Page. The first thing that it asks you to do is go ahead and add a new page. So we're going to say New, Document, HTML. I'm going to say Practice. This is just the title, so this is going to be the title of your actual page, so what's going in that tab area. So I'm actually going to name this Create a Page, and that will be our tab. If we had in a CSS at the moment, we could attach it. We don't. That's what we're creating, so we don't have anything, and we're going to come down here and hit the button Create. Now, as you can see, our title is Create a Page, what we just put in that little bar. We want to save this file, though, so I'm going to do a File, Save As. And I'm going to find the file folder I just created, which was Create a Page. And I'm going to name it practice.html. And you can see that it is in our file folder. The next step that it asked you to do was to add an H1 and add a paragraph in the Insert panel area. So I'm going to go to Insert. And the first one I see is paragraph. And I'm going to say this is my paragraph. And I can check the code, and you can see that there's a P there, so I do know that it's working, and that there's a P down here. I'm going to hit Enter, and I'm going to select H1. You can drop down if you want to make sure that you've got it. And I'm going to say this is my H1 paragraph. And I can see in my code that there it is. Here's something I want to go ahead and just show you right away what we have going on. We have where you can check your spelling. So if you can go to Commands and say Check Spelling, it will actually check your spelling for you. So again, that's Commands and Check Spelling, or Shift plus F7. So what we want to do is we want to add CSS to this. So I'm going to go to my CSS panel, and I can see that it says sources, and I don't have one yet. So I'm going to click on Add, and it gives me three choices. I can create, I can attach, or I can define in a page. We're going to do two of those today, but one that we're going to choose right now is define in a page. So I'm going to click Define a Page, and you can see then when we split this that this is going to be actually in the page. So HTML, as you know, has elements that it already knows, and paragraph is one of those elements, and H1 is one of those elements, so we do not need a class or ID on these two. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Add, and I'm going to say P, and I'm going to click off, which if you just click off, if you hit Enter, you still have to click off. I'm going to add another one, which I'm going to add H1, and I'm going to click off. Now, I want to go ahead and format these, so what I need to do is I need to click on the P, and over here is our Properties panel to the right. And you can see that we have layout, we have text, we have borders, and we have background. And if you scroll down, you're able to see all those as well, but this just kind of helps you get around a little faster. So I'm going to click text, I'm going to click a color, any color is fine, and I'm going to click my color, and then I simply click off of it again. You can see that it changed the color. I'm also going to change my font family, change it to whatever you'd like, and you can see that it actually comes up there. You can do anything else you want here, or that's enough as well. And I'm going to do the same thing for H1. I'm going to do some changes on it, maybe a different color, different font family, and that's it. That's all I need to do for those. So you can see right here that as I was doing it, it actually already changed it, and I don't even need to go back and change it. Now I will need to change it for the external, but this is a very good example that it already did it for us. So there are my actual colors and font family for both of these. If I want to see, let's say I want to select H1, and this is just so much stuff that I just don't even know what's going on, because eventually you're going to start adding more and more things and you have no idea what's going on. So what I can do is click up here and say Show Set, and that Show Set will only show me what I have going on for this particular instance. So that's a really good hint as well. Finally, the last thing that it wanted to do is it wanted you to create an external CSS and then add a class. So I'm going to again click on Add up here. This time I'm going to say Create a new CSS file. And I'm going to name this My CSS. I'm going to say OK because I want it linked. And what you're going to find is, here it is, right in the files. And let's say, well, where did it go, right? I didn't even tell it where to go. Well, you can come actually here and we can see that it actually, here's my link. And because we already saved it in this file, it's already actually in our file folder for us. So that was pretty neat. So now we want to make sure that we're working with that one because now we have two CSS, right? So we have the P and the H1 in our inline styles, and now we have our external one. And we want to add a class. And this class that we want to add is going to be called My Heading. So a class is what? A class has to start with a period, and we're going to say My Heading. And let's go ahead and again, we're just going to stick with colors and font changes just so we can kind of get used to this. So now we have an external style sheet. Now how do we apply that though? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select, I'm going to go to insert, I'm going to hit enter here. So I'm on a different line and I'm going to go ahead and let's just say I'm going to go with H2. And I'm going to say this is going to be my external CSS style. So right now this is just an H2 heading, right? We don't have anything else on this. But what we can do is this is selected even if I click it, or if you want to be super for sure, you can go ahead and highlight it. So let's highlight it. And down here where our class is, I'm going to click and I'm going to say, oh, there's my heading, and I'm going to click on it. So you can see that it actually changed my heading, which is pretty awesome. So I could also change anything with that My Heading, right? Because it's a class, so I can use it over and over again. So I could change that to My Heading. We don't want to because we already had some stuff going on there, right? So we want it to be still the H1, but that is my external. So here I have an inline and I have an external, and I have two selectors already selected. So I have a P and an H1, and then in my external, I have a class, which is called My Heading. Note to self, okay? Classes you can use multiple times. IDs you can only use once. So think of things that you would only need to use once, such as a navigation, a footer. There's a couple other items. Those are the main two ones that you would use an ID. Maybe the header area. And then a class you could use multiple times. So you might like the formatting of a certain area and you could use that on multiple pages multiple times. So is there a complete wrong way whether you're using an ID or class? No, but there's some logic to it when you're using it only for one purposes or a class for multiple purposes. If you have any questions, please contact me as soon as possible so that I can get you cleared up. And I hope that helps you get through this assignment. Again, save this and put it to Blackboard. Thank you.